This is just an hello world to ML webinar. So you will be learning all the things from basic, and you will be doing a project which I will be showing a demo of in by soon 2 or 3 slides later. So that's what we are going to teach today. So this is the agenda, like what we will be doing the whole session. You will have like a brief introduction about me and what we are going to do today. So that's it. And intro to machine learning, I will be teaching you what is machine learning and what are it used for, and what is the difference between uh, machine learning and AI, what do they say, why they say AI, and stuff like that. And we will get into the main part, which is ML5JS, which we are going to use today. And there will be a short break where you can ask all the questions you need, and we will start coding there. And after starting to code, I will just teach you some bits which will be enough for to create a basic quick demo, which will be useful, but still it won't be visually appealing. Then we will add some effects to it, and we will just present the demo. So you guys can join with me while I start to code. If not, it's fine, you will just have a link to this video so that you can just see anytime, and you can just reproduce the same results which I bought from now. And there will be a QA time again, so you can ask any sort of questions in the QA time. And after that, there is a surprise and there will be some PPTs and like stuffs going on, so stay tuned for that. And then finally we will be just giving a brief uh, information about, like, if you want to continue with ML career, so what are the things you should do and stuff like that. So don't forget to just see that too. So that's it for today. Like, this will be the whole session. Yes, and as they said, I'm Praveen. So there is nothing a lot about to say about me. So I have written only a single line, and I'm working in GUVI. So I'm a full stack developer there, and I just love ML. That's it, and I'm just learning it for like 2 to 3 years. So that's why I'm just ready to teach you guys. So that's it. Okay, yeah, these are the two open source libraries and tools which we will be seeing today. One is ML5JS and a Teachable machine. A Teachable machine is basically from Google, and you know them. They are very good at machine learning and deep learning. They just harness the powers of like machine learning and deep learning, and they are doing a lot of things in the field. So that's there. And ML5JS, they just used Teachable machine in their library, so you can easily build the model here, and then you can just upload them in ML5JS, and you can just bring the project alive within a hour or 15 minutes. Even if you are like practiced a lot, it won't even take a 2 to 3 minutes to build a machine learning model to do a lot of things. You will see what are the crazy things that Teachable machine and ML5JS can do together. So that's it. And yeah, so straight to the point, what is an AI? So we all know that AI, they say a lot of controversy about AI. There is a lot of problems with it and stuff like that. But stuff like that aside, the AI is nothing but making a computer smart, looking smart. That's all. It just makes the computer answer your questions, or like whatever you tell them to do, in a smarter way. If you just program them to do if or else, there are only like two options for them to do. But if you just implement an AI algorithms, so if let it be a machine learning or deep learning algorithms, it just does it in a different way. For example, let's take this AlphaGo, which is the one of the best example, and which beats all the humans pro players and Go. So what it does is it is just made for just building this whole game, and then they have just trained on it for like several months and years. So what it does is it just keeps on practicing with itself. For example, it today it plays a match with a computer or a like human. Next, what it does is it takes a snapshot of the previous play, and again it plays with itself. So what happens is it comes up with a new strategy, and finally as a result, it just beats every pro players in the game. So that's how it works. What I'm trying to say is that AI is not like a programmed one. It can just adapt itself to its uh, environment. So that's what I'm trying to say. So as I said, that those are the things I have just explained here. And main thing, there is two kinds of AI. So one will be a general AI, it's nothing but it's like human. So I don't see any general AI still now. Everything is written in the way that to only solve a certain thing. There is no AI that can just do everything. If there was some AI that is called like, which I would like to call as general AI, those are like humans. They should be with humans, so that's how they are. And most of the AI today which we see and which we are going to build today is also an era AI, which can only do certain things. Like for example, let's take AlphaGo. It can just play games, but other than that it cannot do any other stuff. So those are narrow AI, but still it can do things much better than a human does. So that's what we are trying to build. So let's get it to the point. And yeah, the main topic of today's session will be what is machine learning. So in order to achieve artificial intelligence, so we are just implementing a new algorithm called machine learning. That's all. It's nothing but machine learning is the algorithm which we use to make the system, or like the program what you write look smart. That's all. It just uses lots of data. For example, let's say you're just going to differentiate between apple and orange. So you will take lots of data and test data of like apple and orange and put it into a system and just train on it. So what it does is it just extracts all the features from that images or data set which you have given, and then it starts learning from the features which you have given, and then it just predicts whether it's an apple or orange. You might see a lot of apples and orange examples coming through this whole session, so just get with it. So next, yeah, there are some styles of machine learning you can use, and one is supervised learning. That's what I was telling now. You will just label that this is an orange and this is an apple, and then you will tell the system to learn. What they do is they just see the pictures and capture all those features from the data set, and they learn themselves. And if you just give a new picture, they will just say that yeah, this is it, this is that, this is this, and that's how they learn. But when it comes to unsupervised learning, there is something like this. You don't give any labels, you just give a random lot of random images. For example, let's say don't say the system that this is an apple, orange, or grapes. So what it does is it just takes all those data and label them in a graph. So it might look like this. For example, let's say the features in the apple. Let's say these are the red pixel values, which if I plot it, it will look like this. And the colors in the orange may look like this, and the like colors in the grapes might look like this. So what it does is it just labels this as something A, B, and C. If you just put some images into it, it will just see whether the data which you given plots into any of these clusters. So if you given an image of an apple, it will just check the color and plot it in a graph, and you will see which are the neighboring things into the cluster. So if it finds one, it will just say that it's an apple. So the same way it goes to orange and grapes. So it's not much of an like a big deal. It's just 10th graph. You just mark the points and like whatever you take care of. Like let's say you are just taking care of the colors and then extracting the features from them. So what you do is you just pick the points from there and plot it here, and you say that this is apple and this is it. And if you put a new image, that's what it does. So that's how it works. And the next one is reinforcement learning. So that's my favorite. What it does is you just tell them you should go there. Let's tell as an example, yeah, take it a baby. It's just trying to learn to walk, let's say that. So what happens is it just takes two steps and it falls. So things which it has done to take that two steps, and it will save it, and then again it will try to do. So again it might fall, but if the goal is to reach like 10 steps, it will just keep on trying and trying and trying. And after some few trials, it will find the best way to reach a long distance. That's how a baby learns. And the machine also learns the same way. That's reinforcement learning. So once I am saying, like supervised learning, you are just giving the data by just labeling them. This is orange and this is apple and whatsoever. unsupervised learning, it's nothing but you're not giving any labels of data. You just push all the data together and it just clusters everything, and then it just says that this is it, this is it. I don't know what is the name of this, but you push the data and say that this belongs to this kind of people and like kind of objects and stuff like that. And reinforcement learning, it learns on itself through rewards and punishment. While the what does it mean by rewards and punishment means, it's like reward means the distance which it has covered, and punishment means it just fails and it starts to do from first. So that's the reward and punishments. So the machine learning use cases, what you can use them for. So object detection, obviously that's the main thing which we are going to do today. And speech and sound recognition. So yeah, we will be seeing today a little bit, a pinch of salt, but still you won't be you can do every project out of speech and sound too, so nothing there. And natural language processing, that is a part of ML5 JS. I will just show you what are the things you can do. And prediction and translation, prediction is nothing but object recognition, and you can also predict some other things. Translation, which is used by Google for like translating the text and stuff like that, you must have used Google Translate. So that's there. So yeah, let's move to the next slide. Yeah. So main parts of an ML algorithm will be, like if I give an apple, it should tell that it's an apple. So what happens is there is something called classifier. So this is what we called as classifier. It takes an input as an apple's image, it processes them, it something happens here, and it just says that it's an apple. So this part of the ML algorithm is called classifier. So if I just give you a problem, now you don't think of an ML, but still you just think it like this. You know programming, and if I give an example, a program that you should detect the difference between apple and orange. So what you might be doing, if I was there, I would just tell that let me calculate the orange pixels and the red pixels between the two fruits, so that I can just say that it's an apple and orange. It will be something like this. Yeah, it will be something like this. I'll be saying that if the orange pixels are more, I will be saying that it's an orange. If the orange pixels are less, I will be saying it's an apple. So that might be good decision, but still what I will be doing is, what if my pictures are black and white? So yeah, there again you will tell that let's calculate the shapes of the fruit and stuff like that. But again, if you go to the real world, the problems are really busy. You won't find anything very easy. So if what if I just give you a picture of banana? So again, you will just see the textures and pictures, and after, if you see to solve this problem, you will write up to like 10,000, 20,000 lines of code, and you will be never solving the problem. And if I give a new problem, and you should start it from first. So that's the biggest problem where the ML solves it. So what happens is, in order to create an ML classifier, if you use an ML algorithm, you just put all this training set as like 1,000 apple images and 1,000 orange images. What it does is it creates this component for you. So that's what we will be seeing today in live and action. But the thing is this, it just creates you a classifier which you can it's something like a small brain, you guess. Like you just teach them to do things, and you can put in any parts of the program, and it will do the job of predicting something, whether it's an apple or an orange and stuffs like that. And basic understanding explanation which I have made, like it's just an explanation example. So an ML classifier is box of rules that's made from an ML algorithm. So whatever algorithm you use them, you will see some examples. But the thing is, they create a classifier from the data set you give them, and it's ready for like predicting whatever the stuffs you give them. So that's the main part of ML classifier. If you want, if you are just too much interested in them, you can, I have given some references in my GitHub repository, which I will be giving you at last. You can even continue to see them, and you will get a large idea of what is ML classifier and how to build it from base and stuff like that. But for now, this is a basic example which to give you a basic insight of what is ML and how it works and stuff like that. Yeah, the main topic which we were talking about is like teachable machine and ML5JS. These guys had only one problem in mind. Like not every people can afford to code and learn to code. It means like afford in the sense like they have their own things, but still what they believe is everybody should learn how to code. Mainly when it comes to AI, that they think that everybody should learn them very easily. So what they did was, why to code while we can click and drag, like everybody knows how to use an UI, like a browser and stuff like that. So what they did was they put up an UI elements together to make your training model training very easier, so you don't need to do a lot of things. For example, let's say if I want to just differentiate and handwritten digits, it would take me a lot and lots of lines of code just to do that. But with teachable machine and ML5JS, you won't even write a single line of code and you can just get with the result. So that's what they were aiming for and they have achieved it. That's what I will be teaching you today. Yeah, use cases, what are the things you will be doing today. So yeah, you can build your own ML5 projects while you after you learn this with ML5JS and teachable machine, whatever the project is. Maybe it might be an voice project, it might be an image detection project, and I will just show you how to use the pros project too, so that will be there. Next, image detection project. You can use image detection in the sense you can use your own custom images, or you can put up a like a pre-trained model to detect everything whatever you want. So you can create a voice detection project. For example, let's say if I say turn on the lights, it might turn on the lights and you can trigger the things to do. And there is post detection to trigger things. Let's say you're just uh, a guy who goes to gym every day, you want someone to count your things. So what you can do is you can create a program to detect how many times you are doing a push-ups or pull-ups or whatever you call them, and you can just make program out of it. You can just program it to count and say how many calories you have burnt and stuff like that. You can be just more creative with those programs in specific. Yeah, and yeah, we should not forget them who have created the program. So uh, the ML5 and teachable machine was created with the collaboration of these guys. These are the guys who uh, just gave their whole uh, thing to it. So let's say thanks to them. It's I just happen to think that like we should thank them, because without them you might not learn it so easy. So that's why I've just mentioned their name. They have very beautiful repos and like examples for you. Maybe after this session you might just go and see their repos so that you might understand, get a lot of content from their projects and stuff. Yeah, yeah. This is a break time, so you can put up your questions, whatever you have, and I'll just answer them. So till now, I just explained a very little bit of things which I had to say, but still we'll be learning about coding and doing stuff later. So put up your questions now. You can just take a 5 minutes of break, so you can ask me any question in the 5 minutes. Difference between AI, ML, and deep learning, and what's the difference between test set and training set? Yeah, that's the good question. So AI, it's totally. Let's take AI is one big thing. So in order to achieve that, you have two ways: ML or deep learning, or do together. So what you do is, for example, let's take. I wanted to go to a shop, so you have a vehicle, so you can take the road to go there, and you have to walk by a walk. So like you have to walk, yeah, I mean that. So what you do is you just take any of those, or you can just use the both. So it's something like that. To achieve artificial intelligence, you can either use ML or deep learning. It's something like that. That's the difference between AI and ML. So test set and training data set, okay, that's fine. Training data set means you just give a lot of data about the particular object which you are trying to teach the machine. But when it comes to test data set, it's an unlabeled thing. You have the label, but still you will just push those data and see how the machine performs with your test data set. So it will just see all the things, and you will just learn from them, and you can even see how it's learning and its learning curve and something like that. Yeah, okay. Are we going to do practical on this? Also, how uh, can I beginner start to ML? Please share the resources. Yeah, of course I will share you all the things, and you are going to do a practical on this. How do you know if an algorithm is made from an example images concurrent? Okay, I don't know what do you mean, but what I understand is how do algorithm made from an example image. Yeah, like if something detects an image, so it's probably made out of a training data set of images. So otherwise it won't produce the result, because it learns from the images itself. So if you give an input as an image and get an output as a labels, that means the model has learned from the images itself. That's what you should assume yourself. Is ML algorithm adapted changing the situations? It depends, because like if I write program only to detect my face and my friend's face, and if somebody comes in, it won't be able to detect. It will just give a probability of whom they resemble to be. Let's say like me and my friend are there, and if I just try to show the face of yours in the system, it will just say that whether I you look like me or my friend, but it won't try to just say that you are different person. You should just write some code to do that. Can you explain deep learning with one example, Mohan Krishnan? Yeah, yeah, I'll just show you some examples of deep learning, what it does and something like that. If you want to make something so fast, supervised learning is better. If you want to make something like you don't know what are those labels, just you want to put all those data and make sense of it, unsupervised data, unsupervised learning. um, when it is reinforcement learning, it's something like you just wanted to create something that reacts to the world, and you wanted to adjust to all the situations, then it's reinforcement learning. Is okay, fine. Many of the large models cannot be processed by Jupyter notebooks or even Colab. What can be done? Yeah, that's biggest problem everybody just gets into. What happens is like Colab and Jupyter notebooks rely on their internal hardware what you use. For example, let's say you have 2 gigabytes of RAM and you don't have a graphics card and you use Collab, for instance, they just give you sometimes a lot of GPU power to be used. But what happens is if they don't have the resources, you won't be able to. What I suggest is you can go with Amazon SageMaker. Probably you should pay for it, but still they will work like in Jupyter notebook, and whatever biggest models you wanted to do, you can just do it there. Can Java be used for ML? Yeah, you can use any of the languages to do ML. If you learn the depth of like how to do all the things in ML, it's just really easy to do in implement in any language. It doesn't matter if you learn all the things in ML, you can even use C to do all the things. So that's there. Please give some examples or use case of ML types. Yeah, of course I will give some examples of what are those things, and like I will just show all the examples of all the models I have been showing. Okay, then training set gives 95% results and test gives 50. Okay, how I see this scenario as like your test data is not good. For example, if you get a training data set resulting in 95% and your test data gives you only just 50 percentage, that means you don't have an enough amount of training images. That's it. The test data might combine some real life data, so that is doesn't the machine is not able to check whether it is between those model which you try to train it for. So that's there. You should just probably increase your machine learning training data set. That's what I would say. What will be the concurrency of the algorithm made from those example images? Concurrency in the sense, I don't understand what do you mean by concurrency, so you can just post the question again. Does ML require Python? Of course it requires Python. But when it comes to browser, you don't require Python. I really say you don't require Python, so you can just directly use it on browser. I just already prefer me learning this machine learning. Yes, I would just prefer anybody to learn machine learning because it's like an utility, you can use it anywhere. So that's what I would like to say. How much data will you allocate for your training, validation, and test data set? um, yeah, okay. It's something like data in the sense, yeah, if you are saying about data set, it will be something like you should not overfit your training model. Like if you overwhelm them with 1 lakh pictures just for differentiating between apples and orange, that's gonna overfit. You just maintain within like 2000 2000 to 3000 per model, per label. You just maintain it with 1000 3000 to 4000 per label, so it will be fine. Yeah, can I train and create a model using Python and run the model using ML5 JS? Yeah, it's possible, because when you create a model using Python, you just create weights. So those weights are compatible with the JS model which you are going to make. So you can just probably create your own Python model and put it in the ML5 JS and it will work. How do you handle miss or corrupted data in dataset? So there is something called dataset preparation. Before you process the dataset, you will just see whether there is any corrupted data in your thing. So if you have any corrupted data, you should remove from them. Otherwise, your test data might testing. Sorry, I mean like training might get interrupted. So that's it. I think I have answered all the questions. So is there any other question, or shall we go into the session?
Uh, I think there are one or two questions in the chat box, Praveen.
Yeah, okay. Do you mean like the?
Yeah, I'll read it out for you.
Yeah,
So
okay.
someone is asking, Krishna Kumar is asking, is RNN better than CNN?
Okay. Yeah. When you go with recurrent and convolution model, it's something like it's based on your application. When it comes to images, you don't need to have a large amount of features there. You can go with CNN. Really, it's just if you want to just differentiate between the same example as I told you, apples and orange, you can go with CNN and get with a better result with a short amount of time. If you're going with an RNN for just thing, it's something like you're putting up an Lamborghini engine in your bike or something like that. You don't need to do that, because already you can do this. Then why do you go with an RNN? So something like that. You just go into then applications where you can use RNN and CNN, and you can just work with it. So never use something that is not required for that problem. Use which is the lowest consumption one, so you can save your time. And even it might save, sometimes even RNN will give uh, not give a better result than CNN. I'm not saying that the model which you produced will be bad. Sometimes it happens, because uh, the way that RNN processes and CNN processor are similar, unless there are some feedbacks to it. So those things are there, so you should take care of those two, but never do something that is not required at the problem. How much knowledge on math is required to get started with ML and AI? So yeah, that's a good question. So if you wanted to get started with ML and AI, what do we call them? So you just need basics of math. Like you should know basic algebra, calculus, and some regressions and stuff like that. And if you have a, I would say, like, you don't need a lot of math to use ML. If you want to create your own things, then you need math. Or else there are a lot of documents which you can read and know what they are going to do, and this you can just place them like a Lego bricks and get your things done. So it doesn't require like a whole lot of math. You should just know what it does and you can just go with it. Will my accuracy of my model be affected if I decrease the number of cases in my data set? Yeah, probably to some extent, but not for everything. Like if you just decrease your data set by half, you might see a difference. But if you just tweak a little bit and decrease it, you won't find any difference, because at one point your model will be at a peak saturated level that you will never find anything improving. So you can stop it there. Do we need any coding knowledge to progress in this? No, I would say like I will be teaching you 4 or 5 lines which you can remember them. You don't need to know a lot of coding knowledge for today's uh, example. Yeah. Okay, that's it, right?
Yes,
Like
Praveen,
there
that's
is
all.
no
We
other
can start.
questions today, right?
We can go with the session, and then we can have a
Yeah,
break
okay.
at some point later.
Okay, fine then. Yeah, the break, something like to just program along with me, you can just open it them now. I'll be just teaching you some like 2 to 3 lines of code which you should remember, just to understand what I am doing and be in my context. Otherwise, if you don't have, it's fine, no problem, you can just listen to me and you can just reproduce anytime you want, so that's not an issue. So let's move to the next slide. Yeah, so these are the both things we will be seeing today. So as I said many times, these are the two things we will be seeing today, so there is no changes in that. So yeah, these are the basics of JS which I will be teaching you before we get into things. So one thing will be console log. So this is it. What it does is it just prints whatever you just put it in the program in your browser. That's all, there is nothing more than that. And there is array. You can just there will be a lot of data. For example, let's say you're just training with apples and oranges, so array 0 might contain the data for apple, and array index 1 might contain the data for oranges. So these are the both these are the stuffs you should learn when I just teach you things. So that's there. And yeah, html we will be using, sorry, we will be using html. So this is the basic structure you should learn. This is like 4 lines you should learn, because like in order to make your project look good, you might require this one. And yeah, this if condition, that's very important. Because if you want to make some logics, like if I don't wear the mask, I do this thing, I do that thing. So if you want to do all those things, you just need this if condition. You just tell the condition, if he is not wearing a mask, it will just wait, machine will wait, what should I do? So you can just put all your stuffs there. Like you can say, you can just pull an alarm, you can just inform a message, you can send a mail and something like that, and you can just start just doing that stuff whenever that thing event is fired. So that's how it works. So we will just see the demos of these things alone. So you will just get a brief introduction, like what you are going to do with lines of code. So that's there. Other than that, there is no issues. I will just teach you all these things and you will be quite comfortable with using all those things. So I'll just copy this whole thing. So okay, sorry. So this is the console, like what I was telling you. Whenever you run your program, most of your programs will be running here, so you can see the output here. Let's say I'm just using console log here, the first line which I was showing you in the slide. And yeah, sorry, yeah, it just says you guys are awesome, you guys are really awesome because you have attended the session today. So that's there. And yeah, there is array, so I'll be telling about the array later. and HTML basic structure. It's nothing but if you want to just make something out of a web element, so you should know this basic structure which I will be showing you. But for now, remember that there is this basic structure of 4 lines which we will be needing later, and if condition. So it's something like I will just show you a quick demo of if conditions. So it's something like if one is, I'm just saying, like if one is greater than 0, I just need to execute code. Let's say the console log which we were doing last time. So console log, yes, it's greater, and if I just pass them, it just says it's greater because whatever the condition I pass here, like within the brackets, it will just analyze them and it will return whether it's true or false. So if it is true, it just does whatever we say, as I said here, and if it is false, it just leaves them, it just skips the whole step and it never does that. So that's what we need today. So these are the 4 things you should understand today. So if this is there, you are just ready to go with all things what I am teaching. So if you have some doubts on this 4 things, you can just put up a question or raise your hands. I will be just answering them in like 5 minutes, and we will just get into the real deal. So put up a questions. I don't see any questions. Does anybody question in the chat box? I don't see anything. Okay, fine then. I don't see any questions coming by. So we will get into uh, getting into the introduction of teachable machine and stuff like that. Give me a minute. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. If you have a browser, you can just show a copy and just put them here, or just Google teachable machine and you are good to go. So yeah, this is the uh, landing page of teachable machine. As you see here, this is how it works. You just train them with the data and they will just work like this. Whether it's a tray, like they just do a lot of things. I'll just show a brief introduction of all of this. Yeah, currently in teachable machine, you can do these 3 things. You can do an image project, an audio project, and a post project. What do you mean by image project is what we are going to do today. It will just use the images to detect something, and it will just label them, whether it's an apple and orange and stuff like that. So that's there. An audio project, you can just, as I said before, these are the things you can do with ML. So this is also an one of the things. It just takes your audio sample and trains on it, and it just says whether like what you have said. Let's say if I say hi, it should just detect hi. So it will just detect those things and answer the things. So, and post projects, as I said, if you are a gym, you're just going to a gym and like you want to count your push-ups and pull-ups and stuff like that, you can just make a project from here. So I'll be showing an example of all of those things, so you can see them there. So that's there. So let's get into the image project. So what will happen is, here we will just use our webcam to just take an input of images from your webcam and train it. For example, let's take it's me without mask. Let's say without mask. So next class will be with mask, and another class will be Touching face. Yeah, let's say I'm just touching my face, so I should not touch it, right? Because like it's quarantine time, and if there are some people touching their face, we should say them that you should not touch the face. So let's say that touching the face. So what we will do is you can use two of these methods to do something. For example, if you use your webcam, it directly feeds the images from your web page, like webcam. Sorry, like you can take the images from your webcam and feed it directly into the network, so it will just learn from them. And upload is something like you have a lot of images with you just put it there and you can just start to work with it. So it's like if you have 100 images of apples and orange, and if you just give an input, it will just say that whether it's an apple or orange and stuff like that. So that's the other than that, there is nothing to learn from them. So let's use the webcam thing and they just trying it without mask. So yeah, that's me. So let's record like 100 to 200 images. So yeah, I'm just using my face all together, so it just knows that my face in every angle. So these are the angles I have used. So 105 images, I think that's better for myself, so there is nothing for that. So I just got like 105 samples, that's enough. So with mask, wait a second, I just wear my mask. Yeah, I'm back, and yeah, I just got my mask now. I may be looking funny, but still, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm just scanning my faces in all the directions so that it knows that I'm using a mask. So what happens here is it just takes a sample of all the images with mask and without mask and me touching the face. So yeah, I'll just remove my mask and then we will just train it over me touching my face. So what happens is it will just train all over the images and tell whether I'm touching my face or not. So let's do that too. I'm not really touching my face because I touched those masks, but still, I'm just keeping my hands near my face so that it can just train over. I just got over 160 images. Yeah, it's too much, but still, it's fine. So here you can just see how it's learning. So that's the under the hood thing. So you can just click on train the model. What happens is it just starts training all this data into your model. This is where I said that you can create an ML classifier here. So you can use a lot of things here, you can just even tweak a lot of things, but the thing is for now it just creates your own model here. You don't need a thing to do all those things. As you can see, it will just show all the accuracy levels and how the things are working there. So if this thing falls below like 8, I guess you should just improve your lot of samples you are giving on. For me it's fine because for me only I am just being detected. Let's say, yeah, see here, without mask it's like what to say, it's like 100% accuracy. So if I try to touch my face, it's saying that I'm touching my face. So with mask, like let's just use my mask here. Yeah, I'm just touching my mask in my hand, so it's saying that you're touching plus and with mask. So that's how it works. So the thing is, now it has just learned how to do the things. So what happens is now we have the model. So what you do is you just click on export model and you just have all the things what you need. I told you, right, you don't need a coding knowledge for doing this project. This is what I meant. So you don't need anything. All you need is you just wanted to just copy this whole thing and then put it in a thing. What you should do is you just open a code editor. Wait a second, I might be out of the screen. Fine, like I couldn't copy it. Okay, that's fine. I just copied, and what you should do is you just put it in what to say, like you just create a new file, just paste this whole thing here, and just save it as an HTML file. Yeah, after you copy this into a file, just copy the whole thing and just put it into the file. I'll just show you the end result what we are going to do today. So that's it. I'll just show you. So this is how it will look like. So it's a basic thing. It just asked me to put the mask, and if I just try to touch my face, it says that don't touch your face because like it's quarantine time and stuff like that. And if I just put my mask, let's say if I just put the mask, it says that you are safe now because I just wore my mask right now. So that it's saying that you're safe now. You can just do all the things. So that's there. You are just okay with this, right? Just we will have like a 2 minutes to 3 minutes of like break, so you can ask all the questions you want to, because we have jumped into teachable machines because I have skipped a lot of things in between, so you might have some confusions and stuff. So I would like to clear all them before we are going to move into the coding session. So just ask all the questions you want so that I can answer them, and I'll just prepare a lot of things which you we need for this session. Yeah, put up the questions whatever you need. I don't see any questions. Is there any questions you want to ask? Okay, fine. Yeah. What is the accuracy of mask detection? Just curiosity before we jump into. Yeah, actually we jumped into it. Sorry, I just couldn't answer. You will just get up to like 80 to 90% of accuracy. So can you report the export model? Yes, of course I will just report the whole export model thing and stuff like that. And what is the difference between constitutes and refinement?
Uh, Hello, Praveen, are you there? We're not able to hear you.
Hello, I'm just here. Sorry for the like I just had some technical issues, so I was just off for a bit. Yeah, like let me see some questions.
Praveen, are you able to see the questions?
No, actually I couldn't see the
Okay,
questions
so
because I
maybe,
was just
okay, sure. Read it out for you.
yeah,
So
okay.
the first question is, what is the difference between epochs and batch size?
Yeah, I was answering that while I was just out. Yeah, batch size is nothing but how many images you just push into your model for a single iteration. Let's say you're just having 3,000 images. That means for a single iteration, you just push like 15 to like 13 images, then you can just specify the batch size. Epoch is nothing but one total set of training, like 3,000 images passed through the thing, and then again it passes all the images to correct itself with the errors and stuff like that, and then it just goes in the next iteration is called one epoch. So basically epochs in the sense just couldn't explain like how yeah, it's just the total data set is being trained for a single time, and on the next epoch what it does is it again just tweaks all the errors and stuff, and it tries to lower the errors. So that's a single epoch. So that's there. It's just one unit of the training, so I can just tell it by units. So that's there. Yeah, next question, bro.
Can we use the same code in Jupyter Notebook?
Notebook, yeah. No, actually no, because Jupyter Notebook is specifically for Python. But the thing is, here, like you can use this model in Python. After you train them here, you can just download those model from there, and then you can use it in Python. But you can directly use those code on Jupyter Notebook. Take note of those things. Yeah. Next question, bro.
Can you please? Okay, so someone wants you to explain how you used it in your browser. So I think the
How
question is.
do I use it in my browser? In the sense, I don't understand the question.
Uh, Srihari, can you be a little bit more elaborate on the question? Like, yeah, that would help. And another question is how TensorFlow works with Java.
Yeah, okay. So it's something like you should. Okay, fine. TensorFlow was the library made for Python at first, and they started porting it for like some more devices and architecture like Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. But there was one thing lacking behind, because like browser is one of the like the thing which everybody uses in the daily, and the thing was like they couldn't use any like machine learning stuff intensively or production ready in browsers. So what happens is Google just came up with TensorFlow JS and TensorFlow Lite, and the Lite version was for mobiles, and the JS version for was browsers. And that's it. It's something like it's all code, right? Basically, it boils down to machine code. So there is nothing difference between the code which you have written on the what is say like written on Python and written on like JavaScript. Everything boils down to the same logics and codes. So that's it.
Okay. So should we move on to the next question?
Yeah, move to the
Okay.
next question.
Okay. So the next question is, can we make complex projects using Teachable machine?
Of course, you can make lots of complex projects with Teachable machine, because it's just a step. It just solves the steps of you training and doing the things. But still, all matters is what's your logic and creativity is. So there is nothing to like. There is nothing Teachable machine can held you back. So that's there. So never just think that it can't do some complex things, because it can do everything, and I have tried a lot of things. Mainly you can see best result with postnet and with image detection. Voice is something like it reduced to your mic's quality. There are a lot of variables that might affect your performance or quality. So when it comes to voice, yeah, I would say that you can't do some complex and bigger projects. When it comes to image detections and post detections and stuff like that, Teachable machine, I will just go directly there and prototype a new thing, and I will just test it out. It will work a bit way better, because I have tried it a lot of times.
Okay.
So next question, bro.
Next question. So the previous question that they asked, like they wanted you to, they want you to show me. They are asking how you did it in your browser. So you showed your the demo, right? Using
Yeah,
your host HTML page. So
yeah,
they
yeah,
want to
yeah,
know
yeah.
how you did it.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. What you do is just Google, or like you can just copy the thing which I gave you, or you can just, I will do like a normal person. Just Google into just Google it, Teachable machine. You will just find it. Just go to Teachable machine in the first place. Click on get started. So you will just go into these projects. You can, if you have saved some projects, you can just get it from here or open it from file. I haven't saved anything, because like I'm just doing it from start. So we are just going to image project, and you just get these samples here, so you can use them. So what you do is you just click on webcam, and then you just your yeah, your webcam will be shown here. You can just write whatever you want, like with mask. sorry, without mask. So let's say without mask, and hold to record. It says hold to record because like you can record a lot of pictures here. So just record everything you see. So I just record all the sides of my face because people doesn't be in an ideal perspective. Like they don't sit it straight, they will be like this and stuff like that. And when it comes to machine, it's no big deal. You should teach everything bit of them. So that's it. And now we are teaching them with mask, I guess. No, we will just go with touching the face. So yeah, touching the face. So what happens is if I touch my face, I just record all the things and it just train over it. So I'm just touching my face. It's something like I'm just acting like I'm touching my face. If I take my finger there, it will just detect and it will just inform that I'm touching my face. So with mask, just a minute, I'll just wear my mask. Yeah, I just wore my mask right now. So hold to record and just record all the things you need. So what happens is it just records all the things you have put it with your mask, and what it does is it just gets all the data from you see, right? Basic example is it just sees all the features out of these images and then it trains on it. So you see somebody asked what's the batch size, right? If you wanted to see, it's just here. So for one iteration, what are the things you need for training? So you can just tell how many things. And epoch, it's just one every time every sample is passed through the data set. So the total data set once is one epoch. So you can even tweak those things, but I don't see any use in tweaking all those things. So that's there. So let's train the data. If you want to see in live like how the things are going under the hood, you can just click on under the hood. But yeah, for a smaller data set, it won't take much long. So while training, there is one thing you should never do. You should not switch the tab, because if you switch the tab, the browser, which is not allowed to give a lot of compute resources for that tab. So that's why they are telling don't switch the tabs. So here you can see, right, the accuracy just spiked from 0.8, which means 80% to 1, which means 100%, and the loss was getting too slow. That means even at 5 epochs, we were fine. We don't need to run like 50 epochs for this single project. So that means like you can go with very complex projects and still you can get better results with them. So let me close this. Yeah, we just got the project again because I had some technical issues. I had to redo the same thing again. So yeah, that's there. If I just keep my face, it says I'm touching my face and without mask. And if I just put my mask like last time I do, it just says that I'm just putting my mask, since I'm just, yeah, that's there. So this is how it works. You're fine with it, right?
Uh, and
Yeah.
so another question related, something related question is, where did you save the code? I think the question was like, you showed your final project, right? Like where you where you print out a message
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on
yeah.
the webcam image, right? So they're
Yeah.
asking how did you do it?
Okay, I will be showing you how to do from on now. This was
Okay,
just a simple demo or like basic information about what you're going to do, so that you don't get bored and you know what you're going to do. That's what I was trying to do. So that's it. So I will be teaching you how to do step by step. So there is no issues on that. So you can
okay, sure.
just pass. Yeah, next
So
question.
next question, can we use the export using TensorFlow in Jupyter Notebook? And will the training data be available out of the teaching machine website?
Yeah, of course. That's what I was saying, pressing that word again and again. The thing is, like, you can use those trained model anywhere. But the thing is, you can't use the code, that JavaScript code, anywhere else than a browser or Node.js. That's the thing. Node.js, we don't need to get into the things that is out of scope of this session. So the thing is, like, you can use those teachable machines code into JavaScript, but never use those what to say, like the code which you generated in the Teachable machine on any Jupyter notebook or whatever other things what you use, like Collab, or like if you use Visual Studio Code's new Python notebook, you can't use them. But if you wanted to use that model which it generates, for example, let's say I'm just clicking on export model, and there is something called download. So you can download your model, right? This is what you can't use again. You asked that you can I just get my project? Yeah, it's here, right? You can just download the model and use them. This is where you can use them in what is that, Jupyter notebook or something like that. I don't teach you these things. Maybe you can just uh, play with it. There is the code to it, but still I won't be supporting all these things or covering these things in my session because it's out of scope. But that's it. You can just copy this code and put it on Jupyter notebook and it might work. It should work, but still you might do some things. But I can just carry out with a code and based thing. And there is TensorFlow, right, which is for mobiles and stuff. So you can, if you are an app developer, you should just go with this. It just creates all the things you need and you can just use it on Android. So it will work like charm. I have seen it work in action. And you can just download this model. It's an Keras H5 that model which you can just unload it and you can just use it on in any of your Python thing. So they support every languages which supports TensorFlow. So there is nothing to be worried of. Yeah, let's move to the next question, bro.
Okay, so difference between validation dataset and testing dataset.
Okay, so testing data set is something like I just after creating, okay, validation and testing. No, the question is wrong. Something like testing and validation, that's the same thing. Training and testing is a different thing. So training, what it does is you give a lot of images to the model. It just learns from the training data set. After you train it, you just test whether your data set is working perfect, the model which you have created working perfect or not. What you do is you just push that testing data set into your model, and you don't give any label for that particular image. What it does is it just gives some output. There is another algorithm which checks whether that output is equal to what the picture resembles. For example, you have just same apple and oranges, you have trained it and you have a model. So what you do is you just put up an apple image inside, and you don't label it as an apple. You just put the image and it says whether it's an apple or orange. If it is an apple, it just checks out and it adds some things to the hyperparameters and your model is fine. And if it says apple as an orange, what it does is it just tweaks the things and label it as or it's an apple, it's not an orange, and again the model learns from it. So you get it right. Whenever you say the things it is wrong, the testing data set has, it just trains over that tested data also, and the model gets better and better. That's how it works. Yeah, bro, next question.
Also, okay, this is the final question. So for the
Okay.
when we touch the face, even if the face is a little bit away from our face, the result is giving us 100% accuracy. So someone is asking, is it expected?
Yeah, actually the thing is like you can make it like more accurate. For example, let's say uh, what do you mean? Like what I understood from the question is you're saying that let's turn on the thing. It says when I'm touching the face, it shows 100%, even if my finger is far away. That's what you're asking, right? Yeah, the picture which you are seeing is right now, it's like a 2D image, like it doesn't have any depth to it. So if you convert into an like an image which has depth to it, which using image processing and some other terms, you can find the depth and whether I'm touching my face or I'm just keeping my hands far. But like that is not required, right? Like you can just tell them that don't touch your face. This means what? Like you are going to touch your face. So that's what I was trying to achieve. Like if you are going to touch the face or like you are near the face, you just say that you are touching the face. So that's what I was telling. And this 100% means how much percentage of accuracy it predicts it with. So let's say I'm just closing my face like this, and if it looks like, let's say, if it looks like a mask, it will say that you're probably touching your face with a 50% accuracy, and I will say that with mask it's like 20% accuracy, something like that. But it doesn't say now because our samples were right and it just resembles the way it was. So but it will just show the accuracy percentage. So if it is at 100 and if I just touch my face and it shows 100, that means it really works. That's what it is. Yeah, bro, like, there is any
One
other
minute.
questions?
Okay, so this will be the final question. Someone posted this in a chat box while ago. So
Okay.
can we upload, say the question is, can we upload data in the form of CSV or XLS instead of image using teachable machine?
Yeah, no. Teachable machine is something like you use all the input data here, like whatever input data you have, you can just put it there. But upload, you see, right? Like, wait a second, let me save my project. Okay, I couldn't save. It's fine. So as I said before, these are the three projects you can do with Teachable machine. It's particularly says that it's image project, audio project, and post project. So if you are going with any three of this project, you don't require any of your CSVs and stuffs like that. If it's an audio project, just import your songs or stuffs like that and label it as this is this song. And if you are using a postnet, so you just say whether put your images like same you did with an image project. So other than that, you don't need to do anything. So I would say that you can't do it with Teachable machine. Yeah, that's it, right? Like,
Yeah,
there is
that's all.
any
We
other
can
question?
move to next topic, bro.
Yeah, okay, bro. Okay, fine. So there are some prerequisites which I would ask you to, if you want to continue with my like whatever I'm doing right now. So you will need a code editor. For my case, I'm just using Visual Studio Code, and yeah, probably Python to just run a server. You know, like that's important here, and a browser. So if you have all those three, it's fine for me. You can just run it, or else there is no issues. Like you can just see the whole videos and it will be linked somewhere in the reference, so you can just pick it up from there and you can just join all the things which I am doing and you can just reproduce it whenever you want. So these are the three prerequisites, and Python is, you won't be coding anything, it's just for, and like you can't run this model directly. You just need to pass one line of code to in a bash line or your command prompt in order to run a basic HTML server. For that case, you need this Python. Otherwise, you don't need Python. And browser and notepad or like whatever code editor you have, it's mandatory. So if you have those, that's fine for me. We can just move to the project right now. So yeah, as I said before, we just have this model prepared and it's working perfectly. Just click on this and you have this download my model. Just download your model. You will just have your model here. Yeah, you will have this whole line of codes whichever you want right now. So just copy them. And what you do is you just create your own, one second. Yeah, now what you do is I just have my own project, or else let's do it from start. Like you just create a new folder, whatever you name it, like say Corona project. Yeah, let's say it's a Corona project, and we are just creating a new file here. So it's an HTML file. Okay, sorry. So save it as an index.html. That's all. You don't need to do anything. You just open it in an like code editor. Like let's say for me, I'm just using a Visual Studio Code. So I'm just going with that. So if you want, okay, sorry, just saved as a text file. just save it as an HTML file and you have it. So what you do is you just get all the data which you got here. So let's say I just want these images, I just put them there, and yeah, you just have all this data. So save it. So I just save the whole data thing, and you remember, right, we just downloaded a model right now. So those model from here, so we should import those model too. That's very important. So let's import that model too. So it's in my downloads right now. So this is the model which I downloaded right now. So I'll just copy this, put it on Corona project, and just paste it away. And I just extract it and just create a new folder to it. Yeah, they just gave me a folder, so no big deal. So I'll just name it as my model. You don't need to like only follow this particular name, but why I follow this name is because they have given it as my model, so I don't want to just write new line for that, so I just followed it with my model thing. So you can delete your own thing and you just get all your weights and min. This is what I was talking about. If you have all those three data, like metadata, model, and bin weight file, you can just use it in any programming language that uses TensorFlow. Like for now, you just have Python and JS, but still these weights can be used on PyTorch also, I guess. But there is some tweaks you need to be done, but still it's possible. So okay, fine. Now what we should do is I'm just going to run it on HTTP server. That's what I was talking about. If I need to run it on like what is to say like Python server, I need a uh, Python installed in my PC. So I will just use this. So I'll be using my local host, and yeah, so this is it. Like this alone is one line of code. You should do it before you run it. So this is very important. So once you get this right, so you have this thing done. What you can do is I'll just show you an intro to that ML5 JS before we just get into it. So yeah, this is the like their site or whatever you call them, like ML5 JS. So they, you know, right, they are written on TensorFlow JS itself. So they just say that you can just use these 5 steps to create your own image recognition or object recognition model. But that's nothing to worry about. Like I will be teaching the same way, so you don't even need to write a single line of code. So this is the thing which is added to us already, but if you wanted to, the for those who people know some of the basic things about HTML, like if you wanted to just create a project from scratch with ML5JS, you might need this particular line which just imports the script for this whatever you need it, and then you can just print the ML5 version, and if you get those and it's ready to go. And there is something called p5.js which I would be covering, but still that's there. And yeah, I was telling you about running a Python server, right? HTTP server, nothing but if you just install your Python. Let me show a quick demo how to install Python. So go to just python.org. So yeah, go to downloads and you see, right, for Linux you don't need Python to be installed because it's pre-installed. Without Python there is no Linux distribution running right now. So for Windows you have it here, you can just download and install whatsoever. And for Mac PC, you just have those things, you can download and install it here. You after installation just restart your PC and you're good to go. If you are on Mac OS, you don't need to do that too. Just close your terminal and you're good to go. So just I need to pass this particular line alone, so I'll be just passing them. So yeah, you might ask where should I pass. Just press like you can open your command prompt or press shift and press your right mouse button, and you will just see your Linux terminal or PowerShell. So you might have command prompt or whatever it is, whatever you find it, just click on them. You will just open your command prompt. So just run Python localhost server, and then just start it. So you will have your local server running on. So what you do is you just go here, write localhost 8081 and index.html, which HTML I just used right now, and you just open it. See, it's like saying that teachable machine and image model, so it's ready. If you start it, it must start and it will just put up an image of your webcam and stuff. So yeah, that should work. Okay, fine. Sometimes, like if you don't name this thing perfectly, it might just end up with an error. So because since I used 8081 and here I have just put 8080, so make sure you just don't make the same damn mistake which I made right now. So make sure you don't make any mistake. So let's click on start, and one second, let me just restart my server. Should not make any. Okay, one second. So I have my model in my model and local host. Okay, sorry, I made a spelling mistake. Sorry. So it's asking my camera, like should I use my camera? Just allow it. And yeah, now your model will run. So yeah, it's running. So it says that without mask, it's 100% accuracy. So touching the face means it's 0, and with mask it says 0. That means like if I touch my face, it says touching face is equal to 1. And with mask, let's say I'm just wearing my mask, and it says that yeah, with mask it's 100% accuracy. That means like these are the three things you will be noting. So these are the three things you will just tweak to show that images and whatever like you were trying to do. So that's it. Just take note of these three things alone. So for now, like I have taught you like what I should do. There are only few steps you should get together. Like you just import all the things from your teachable machine. Once again. Yeah, you just download the whole model from here and keep it in your folder, and just download this or copy this whole code and create a file called index.html or like whatever HTML file you would like to, and just replace this with localhost 8081 or whatever the port you want, and put up the folder's name. Example, like for example, for my instance, I used model, my model, so it was like that. But if you wanted to change it, you can just change it and it works that way. And once you have done this, open a command prompt in your project, like press shift and just click your right mouse button. You will just see this. Without pressing shift, what happens is you won't get that shell here. Just press shift and then you open a shell, whatever it is, PowerShell or Linux shell, and just paste your Python server, which I will be putting in a GitHub link to. So that's there. So you can refer it there. So once it's running, no big deal. You can just go and start your machine there. You just run it here. Just open that HTML file which you created, and if you click on start, it will just start running. Yeah. See, it's saying that I'm just without mask, and if I just bring my hands, it says that I'm bringing touching the face and whatever. But the final thing what we are trying to do is we will just put some images or alerts, or even we can just make things to speak and stuff like that. But based on your comments, just comment below like what you want to do in the chat, so I can just do that. But for now, like I have showed you how to just start your machine and play with it. Now you have an working model in a browser, so it's like a working code. you can use those 4 lines which I taught you. Like these are the 4 lines I taught you, right? So you can use these 4 lines to make changes and make it look good. Those are the things we are going to do today. And if the time permits, I will show you some other models like postnet and audio models too. So let's have 5 minutes of like break to ask few questions and stuff. So that's there. You can just ask your questions, whatever you want. Okay, there are many machine learning algorithms till now. If a given data set, how can I determine which algorithm to use for that? Okay, fine. In the terms of teachable machine, you don't need to specify any algorithms or this is what you should use. Teachable machine will directly choose anything like if you throw image data set and if you choose image project, it will just use CNN or RNN. If you just go with any other thing like postnet, that's running on RNN. So if you use that audio model, it uses some other algorithm which is provided by Google, of course. And other than that, you know, right, if you wanted to create your own model from your own code, then there is that you should choose the algorithm precisely. For example, let's say if you are going with images, the best choice to go with is convolution neural networks. And if you are going with the like basic stuffs, like you have only a data set of CSV, somebody asked CSV, right? So if you have a CSV data set and you want to, you can just go with linear regression, so that would work, or multiple linear regression, so that will work. If you have a lot of data, you want to plot it and you want to go with an unsupervised learning, you can go with a clustered method or decision tree, that might work. So that's there. So that's answered. So why do we need a validation data set and test data set, and what is the difference? I think I have answered that. Validation data set and test data set is something that I told you before. It's the same. So what is the best machine learning regression model to analyze small data sets? Okay, when it comes to small data set, means you can go with the old school linear regression. There is nothing need to be done. Yeah, there is any other questions do you have about those things which I was teaching you right now? Like I was telling you how to import those data and like put it into a code and then run it. And I just opened some jargon things like terminal and just pasted some things. So do you have any doubts about that? Just ask me so that you can just follow. Do you have any doubts about that? Okay, I'll just take it as a no. So you don't have any doubts till now. Okay, somebody posted a good. Could you reiterate on the change on made on HTML file, please? Of course, I would do. Okay, just do it once. You can just see what I am doing. So I just created one file called index.html. Okay, so I just downloaded the model from Teachable machine and just put it into this folder, my model. So what happens is I just these HTML files needed to access all those model which you created in Teachable machine. So you are just giving the path, you know, like you are telling it's in my model folder, so you can get all this model.json and metadata.json from that particular folder. So I made this line alone. You see here, right, the link to your model provided by Teachable machine in the export panel. So under that you will have this same line and you can just make any changes. For example, let's say just giving my name as like yeah, let's say Praveen model. Yeah, because it was my model, of course. So I'm just saving it as Praveen model, and then I'm just making it Praveen model. So I'm just saving it. So you have a folder, right? So yeah, I just made some mistake there. Model spelling was wrong, whatever it is. Okay. Yeah, now you have these two things matched, right? So now if you open your like the machine which you have created and you just restart them and start the machine, what happens is it just opens those folder, get all those data from that Teachable machine which you imported, sorry, exported, and then it just starts working with that. So You don't need to do anything other than that. So that's there. Any other questions? Yeah, there is a couple of them. Yeah, what did you do in the terminal? Missed that part. Okay, fine. um, okay, what did I do in the terminal was I just I just had this code, python minus m http dot server 8081, which means you are going to start a simple web server. That's all, nothing more than that. You just open your model, a folder, like wherever you have pasted, press shift and just click on right mouse button, and you will just get this shell here, PowerShell or Linux and whatever it is. Just copy paste there. That's all. Like if you copy paste there and you're just right with it and just press enter and it will do the thing. So you must have got it right now. Yeah, that's there. Like there is no more questions. Okay, there is one. It is deprecated Python minus m for Windows. Yeah, there is. It's not deprecated right now. Like you can see it, right? It's for Python 3. You can just put up a 3 in front of Python and you can just write it out. Because like if it is deprecated, it should not work for me too. But still, it's not deprecated, so you can use them still now. So it must be working for everybody because I am using Python 3.7, so there is no big deal about it. Okay, fine. So we can go to the coding session right now. So yeah, as I told you before, so you know, right? Totally, there is only like four things I told you. If or else, what I was telling is if or else. So that's there. And if or else, what it does is if you pass a condition, it will just do the stuff whatever you want. So that's there. And next one was array. So you can just access data from the array. So I will just tell what is array. Just array is nothing but like you can just store a lot of data into it, like 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. So a contains 4 numbers, so something like that. If you are just in introduction to any sort of coding or like programming language, you must have known arrays. So I just assume that you know what is array. So that's there. Let's say like see here, right? This is the point of interest for me. So I told you, right, this is the place where it predicts. What it predicts is whenever they call this function, like we don't need to go into the deep section. At last you see here, right, it label inner HTML and stuff like that, tech jargon. We don't need to go into that, but still the thing is whatever it's here, right, that's what the model prints in my machine. So this place is handled by that part of the code actually. So you don't need to learn that, like you don't need anything. If you just copy paste, you know that at the last 2 lines of code are just the labels, because teachable machine makes them understandable, because class prediction and prediction class name and probability. So as I said you before, this is the prediction name and this is the prediction probability. So what happens is it just copies whole thing and just replaces whatever it is there. So now we are going to use our first thing what we were using, console log. So we will just console.log and just see what is it printing here. So we will just print this whole thing. So we will know that what is it printing there. So we will just know what is there, so we can access all the data inside that variable. So let's restart and start it again. So you see, right, it's just printing that without mask it's 1, touching the face is 0, whatever it's there, it's there, it is showing here. So that's what we have printed right now. So we will make the changes accordingly. So see, let's make the change here. So if I touch my face, it's saying touching the face. If it is with my mask, no, I don't want to do that. Just if I'm touching the mask, so it says that I'm touching the mask. So that's it. So let's write that if condition now. So if, so what happens is here I wanted to say something. Everything here is stored in an array. Like array in the sense, let's make it simple. Yeah, let's make it simple. I just made a model, right? So where is that? Yeah, it's here. So let's take without mask is in array 0. So it's in an array 0, a of like let's say A is an array, and without mask is in this thing, without mask. So next is touching my face. So let's say touching my face, and next is like I'm just wearing my mask. So there are these three things you just created right now. So you should access it accordingly. For example, if you just used without mask at first, what you do is, if so you just here, right, there is prediction probability to fixed something like that, whatever it is, just copy it, just put it there. So what you do is, here there is an I. So what was the without mask? Let's say I wanted to say without mask, it should just print your without mask in console log. So what I do is, I just put 0 here. That means first one, 0, 1 and 2. That's what I just say. You just understand it that way. All the array begins with 0. If you are into like little bit of programming, you must have known that this starts with 0, 1 and 2. So that's it. Like I just started with 0, and that's for my without mask. And I just, if it is equals, no, if it is greater than 90, so 0.90, I would say that it's 0.90. Sorry. So if it is greater than 0.90, I just wanted to console log put your face mask. So I just wanted to instruct someone like put your face mask. If I am just not putting your putting my face mask, so let's keep it that way. So what happens is, let's start the thing again. Oh, sorry, I just forgot to comment it out. So oh, sorry, my camera has stopped. Let me give me a second. Sorry for an issue. It's just a technical issue. I just got a call and my call just camera just disconnected. One second, I'll be muting. Like you can ask your questions, so like panel members will be answering the questions you ask. So I'll be back in. Guys, until just I fix, you can ask me some questions so I can answer until then. So like if you have some doubts regarding whatever I have taught you right till now, you can just ask in the chat box, so I will just answer them, or my teammates will answer them. Name some tools that way you were using to running the machine learning algorithm in parallel. What do you mean by, like, I don't understand the question. Can you be just more precise so I can understand what you are trying to say? Okay, fine. Like if you wanted to ask some questions, you can ask. I'll be there in a minute. Yeah, I just got it right. So it's fine now. Like yeah, my camera is working. So let's check it now. So you see, right? My camera is working now. So it's just printing it out like put my mask like 3000 times, 4000 times, and it keep on running because like I just have a condition there and it keeps on checking each and every frame. So let's say your camera is running at 30 frame per second. So every second there is 30 input images getting into your model, and let's say it just tries to figure out what is going on with the images. So let's do the same thing for all the three. So let's say like I'm just going to say that put your face mask the same way. I'm just remove your hand from your face, and then the third one will be like uh, touching your face and something like that. So I'll just tell uh, don't touch your face. So I'm just saying that whenever I see somebody touching your face, like I say that don't touch the face. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say. So next is wearing my mask. So you're safe. Let's say like you're safe, man. So you're safe, man. That's what we are going to tell. So that's it. So let's check the model again. So we are just starting the model. So it will just take a bit. Yeah. So now, okay, fine. Sorry, I just didn't change the thing. Like as I said, you should just put one for like your when you're touching that class, and two for wearing my mask. How many more like you might use like 50 or 60. You won't be using, like if you use 60 to 50, you just name it from 0 to like 50 to 100, whatever it is, and you can just print out whatever you want. So let's just restart and just start it. So now you see, right, it's saying that put your face mask. I don't care, but yeah, now if I just bring my like fingers in my face, it just shows that don't touch your face. That means that condition, right? This probably this condition, whenever the probability of touching becomes more than 0.90, it says that man, you're touching your face, don't touch your face. So that's what we are console logging it. And the next one is like you're touching your like you wear your mask and you're not touching your face, so you're safe. So it will print it safe when you just put on your face mask, but I don't want to do that right now. So like this is how you do it. So what we need to do is, what I did was I just put up an image here, and I just, that's just a rough demo. Like I'm just trying to present, like I can just go and throw this to someone and like, what is this, it doesn't even look nice and stuff like that. So I was just preparing myself a project. So you don't need to do that actually to run the model. For now you have done, like it's ready to run and you can just do all the things you want. So let's have a small demo of those both to as an extra, because like like you can do this model, but the things which you are going to see next, like postnet and like what is that, sound recognition, are a little bit different. So like you should also see that what it how it works. And another thing is, here you might have known that I didn't use this thing alone, because like I know, like it's where you are already using it. Like you will just put up the HTML tag here and stuff, and without that too, then HTML will work. So that's not a big deal. I'll just show you how to use them. So that's it. Like now you have just created your model, which can detect whether you are wearing a face mask or not, and you can just put up your own conditions and do stuff there, or you can even show an image whether like whatever it is, like you can do whatever you want there. So that's there. Now the audio project, I'll just show what is an audio project and how it works, but I won't be exporting and showing that because it's same stuff. Just go, just click on mic and like first we will just, okay, sorry, first you will just record an background noise of 20 seconds. You should not speak in that time because like it's recording all the background noise. Since every time you will have some background noise, you what should happen is the model should train and generalize on that background noise. And the next time, if you just create some class saying that I just clapped my hands, let's say I just clapped, so if I just make this sound, it will just try to even get the clap sound even in that background noise. So that's what it does. So other than that, if you just get some background noise for 20 seconds and just clapping sounds like 8 to 10 samples, and if you train it, and here if you just clap, you can see the result here. If you have browsers right now, you can even play with it. So that's there. After that, export the model alone takes some things, 3 steps. Just export, download the model, just copy and paste it in index.html, put that thing into your folder, and boom, you just can do the project on your own. So let's do the another one, like the post project. It's nothing like, it just takes your skeletal, like let me show a small demo. Takes a bit, yeah. See, it just takes record of my hand and it just takes the skeleton because it's not showing because I'm not too far away from the camera and I don't have a camera. Actually, I just use my phone as a camera. But what it does is it just tries to skeletal all the things. So I'm in the sitting posture right now. If I just record the whole thing like this, it means sitting. I'm just sitting, and you can just label it them. And again, you can just open up a new camera, and then you can just add your own new poses and say that he's sitting or standing and something like that. Let's take a scenario, something like it's an exam hall. So you can just create an images of people sitting in an exam hall. So it will just take all the images together, and whenever somebody turns, you can just turn, you can just train the images with the people turned, and your model is good to go. It can just detect whether the people are trying to cheat or they are turning and stuff like that. The thing is, like here, you don't need any coding skills. All you need is some idea which you want to solve it. So what you should do is you just bring up all those ideas and just put it in Teachable machine, and you can just do it. So you can ask like, where is ML5JS? The thing is, ML5JS is the code which we have written here. Everything is done over ML5JS. What they do is simply is like, they just put a model here. See, I'm just creating the model, and I'm just saying that just load the model which I have given. So these are the two places where I'm saying that this is the model where model is located, and I'm just passing it here. Like what it does is it just, okay, fine, this model will take the data and then passes into this, and it gets the total classes. For example, for our set, we had 3 classes. What is classes? If you ask me like what is classes, I'll just show you a second. Like, yeah, without mask, touching the face, and mask, these are the 3 classes which we used. So that's correlating with this thing also, like array. So 0 is without your mask, 1 is like touching your face, and you're safe. So these are the 3 things you were just getting from this thing. So now you got 2 data from your like model. Like you have all the data, and like you have this max prediction, what are the things I should predict right now. So next what you do is you just flip the webcam. So that's not needed. Actually, if you want, you can do that, can be even ignored. If you want to just mirror your image camera, that might come in handy. This is nothing but all these things comes from ML5JS. That's why I have added ML5JS. What happens is, whenever I just export my model, right, it just creates this JavaScript out of ML5JS. So that's there. So it creates all the elements you got from this ML5JS and creates the whole like basic thing. So you can just use it on your model, and it's just ready to go. So you just put in webcam.setup and play. You just got your webcam ready, and when you just request frame book, what it does is it keeps on just showing my images, and you just put those images into your model, and then it starts detecting whatever you are saying, reading and doing and stuff like that. But whenever you are just playing, it's just this one line. Just if you want to console log and do anything, it's here. And now comes the HTML part. So you see this, right? So there are two things here: webcam container and label container. This label container is the way you print this stuff. So let's say it's printing my stuffs here, right? Without mask, touching mask, and stuff like that. So you can change them actually. Like you can say that I'm just console logging these things, right? Put your face mask, and instead of that, let's put those data there. So let's, what we should do is, it's this is the thing which it's putting there. So what we should do is, we just copy this line and just put it onto each thing. Let's say I'm just putting into each thing. So here I'm just copying this to nothing. I'm just copying this into my condition, that's all, nothing more. I'm just copying and pasting these two into this condition. So what I'm doing is, I just clear this stuff, I just delete this stuff, and I'm just putting the whole thing which I was putting into this console log. For example, let's say class prediction. I'm just putting it there, like put your face mask. Sorry, put your face mask. So what it does is, it will just print that thing down there. So I just get a basic result. We see the result soon. So the same thing goes here. Wait, I'll just copy this and do it 3 times. I don't want to be like again and again. It's just too boring. Yeah, so I have done it 3 times. So I just make it this one. What was that? Yeah, touching my face, or don't touch your face. So here, put your face mask, so it will be safe. So you are safe. So that's it. Yeah, I've completed this thing, and let's restart the model. Let's click on start. Now put your face mask. So what it says is, put up my face mask. So now don't touch your face. It just prints it twice. I don't know why. Okay, fine. I just don't care until it works. So we will just make sure that doesn't happen again. So what it does is, it just puts up this thing here, and then it says that put my face, like put on your face mask and stuff like that. So you got it right. So this is what we should learn in HTML. That's all, nothing more. Just, it's just putting all those label data here. That's all, nothing more. Whatever you type there will be into this part. So let's say hello, and if I save it, so you see hello, right? So that's the place where everything gets into. So whatever you make changes here in this particular place, it just get changed there too. So if I get to click on start, when the model starts running and that particular part starts running, it just say that put my face, don't touch the face, and face mask and stuff like that. Okay, let's stop here and ask few questions, like what are the questions you have. So I don't want to just continue without any, like with you guys, with any questions in your mind and stuff like that. So put up your questions. There is 5 minutes of break. If you want to have water and stuff like that, you can just have your water. And yeah, I'll just answer those questions what you ask. Can you speed up models classification and prediction time? Like speed up in the prediction time is based on your like computer hardware, bro. So that's there. And the thing is, like most of the people uses the high-end hardware to make models predict something. So you will get more prediction speed. So that okay, fine. There is no more questions, I guess. Is there any questions? Like you can put up the questions whatever you want, so I can just answer to the thing. Okay, fine. Now you will see a presentation that which I was talking to you before. So
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. One small thing, like we have the session for another 20 minutes.
Okay.
So can you little bit push it up? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cover the important topics and then, yeah, because it's
Okay.
already about 5 o'clock.
Okay, fine. No, I have just completed. It's fine. Like you can go with the presentation, bro.
Uh, so take your time. Take your time. Just complete it, and we can go with the next
Okay.
materials.
No, the thing is like I'm just going to teach them how to like add an images there, like which I was doing before. Other than that, there is nothing much more. I will just tell them in 2 minutes, and you can just continue with your presentation,
Sure,
bro.
sure, sure. No problem. You can
Yeah. Okay.
take your
Fine.
time.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Okay, fine, guys. Like as I said, like these are the things you are doing there. So let's add only one more thing to that. Like don't touch your face. I had some few like images before. Like I had some images to show there. So let's add some images. So yeah, put your face mask. You can just take any images from online. Like there are some. If you just Google stuff, you just get some images there. You can just get those images and just put it there. So I'll just show you how to import some images alone. So you can just add those there. So let me add those images to my project. Whenever you are doing some projects, right, make sure you just have all those images in your project folder, so that if you just add some images, it will just show up in your thing. So that's there. So let's say uh, what is that, mask. So that is like asking to wear the mask. So let's say mask dot. So that's there. So next what we will be showing is it's don't touch your face, right? So don't dot web pay. So so you have that image there and save. So you have that jpg image there. So now if we start running the model, sorry, yeah, if you start running the model right now, it will just run the thing and it will show that. Yeah, I just need to make some things, like you can set the width and stuffs. Wait, let me do that pretty fast. Okay, fine. We have set the images size to be like very little bit. So what happens is if I just click on start, whenever the if image condition comes, it just shows put up your mask. And if I just touch my face, okay, it says that the picture is not available. Let's see what happened. Okay, fine, I didn't close it. And let's start the thing. Yeah, it shows that put up a mask. So if I touch my hands, it says don't touch your face. And if I just put my mask off, it just says stay safe and like I'm safe. That's all. Like you get it right. Basic conditions, like you have run your if or else conditions there and it does the jobs for you. So whatever you add here will be just added to that particular div and you can just run all the things together. So that's it will be for this today's session. Like, there will be a small PPT now. Just make sure you see them and then you can just ask the questions in the Q&A session. Yeah, fine.
Praveen, we can have a Q&A session and then we can go to the next session.
Okay, fine.
That will be only
Guys,
5 minutes.
okay. There is 5 minutes to ask any questions if you want. Like, just ask any questions you like. Yeah, like instead of raising your hands, you can just put up a question so that I can just answer your questions. Just put up all the questions in the chat box. Yeah, you can just write your questions in, click on Q&A and just you can write all the questions, whatever you want in the question and answer box so that I can answer. Okay, somebody is asking like, which OS am I using? Yeah, I'm just using Windows, but I have just poked it a little bit. That's all. It's like deblotted. That's all, nothing more. Okay, like somebody has asked, like, what are the ways by which machine learn? Like, what are the ways by which machine learn? Okay, that's fine. Like machine learning is something like you just teach the machine, and there are three ways, as I said: unsupervised learning, supervised learning, and something called reinforced learning. So those are the three ways, and in these ways what happens is like you just tell the machine just to learn from the data you give. What it does is it just sees the data and just analyze all the things there, and then just if you just put a new data inside, like it says whether it's the object what you were about to detect. Other than that, there is like there are only three ways in machine learning, as I said. So these are the things it can learn from. You can give an example, you can give an example without any name on it, or else you don't even need to give an example. Tell them where what to do and they will just learn them, but it will take a lot of time. So about the GitHub repository, yes, I will just post it right now. And okay, I will just post the GitHub repository right now. One second. So I'll just post the GitHub repo in that chat. You can just get it from the chat. This is the link, and I will be forwarding everybody the GitHub link and the offer code for GUVI. So make sure if you want to just continue all the things, whatever you wanted to study and get certified and stuff like that, make sure you just come to GUVI. We have courses in all the languages, like from Tamil, English, Kannada, Hindi, and whatever. And you can just try it with 2 free courses, and there are some courses which you can try for free. And there is the offer which they have posted, which is called GUVI Yantra. Like you can just put the GUVI Yantra code which I have posted in that chat. You can just put it in the offer as an offer code, and you will just get an offer of 20%. And that's there. So you can just, if you want to learn further machine learning, you can just go to this GitHub link which I have given in the chat list. So uh, yes, one second, bro. Yeah, so you can just go to this GitHub link and you can just see all the things whatever you need, and there is reference. Yeah, one second. What's GitHub? It's in many courses I have read. Yeah, yeah, that's out of scope, but still I will just answer. GitHub is somewhere where you put all your code and share it to everybody. So that's there. It's a simple term. I'm not explaining the whole thing. As you will, like, it's just a way to just share the code for me right now in this place. That's the use of GitHub right now, for me to share the code to y'all. So I don't need to put it in a drive or share the link and I just try to revoke permissions and stuff. Instead of that, I just put all my code there and just share it to you guys. You must fill the feed. Yes. And the thing is, like, if you wanted to get your certificate, just fill the feedback form, because like, we just do a lot of things like this. So in order to improve ourselves, we need this feedback. That's very important. So make sure you just give the feedback so that we know who are the people who have attended and we can keep track of all those things. and the certificate will be mailed to you in 1 or 2 days. So please complete the feedback form without fail. That's like mandatory. Please do that. It's a request from me, and we will send you all the mails and stuff, and you can just even contact in spite of any like problem and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. Is there any other questions I can answer, because we are going to wind up the whole session? So like if you wanted to ask some questions, you can post in QA or chat, whatever it is. So I will just answer it right now.
There is one question in QA box.
Yeah, okay, I see it. What are the steps that a model is built in machine learning? Like, what are the steps? Okay, fine. If I wanted to say it in steps, first step would be gathering your data set. For now, we used the webcam as a data set. We just captured like a lot of images and then answered you. But actually, it's data gathering. And somebody asked in the chat, what is normalization of images? So if you just gather images from outside the world, like outside the like say like real world, let's say real world, you will just have different kind of images. Like one will be in 200 pixels and 300 pixels in width and height, and some will be in 4K or 2K and stuff like that. When this happens, right? So there is no way like you can just make your model adjust to that. So you just make sure the model is processed. So and then what you do is you just put all those data into your model as what the teachable machine does, and you get it. So there are probably 3 steps. Just gather the data, normalize or process the data, and train your data, so you get that classifier on your own. And somebody has posted that what is SVM, yeah, scalar vector machine. So that's something similar to, and what is that? Before CNN arrived, like there was one workshop like this, like where people had a contest of creating an image recognition. Somebody made it in a scalar vector machine, so it was running better, but still somebody came up with a convolution neural network which was much more better than scalar vector machine. That's the point. Like everybody started using CNN and they stopped using scalar vector machine. But still, it's old school. I still use them whenever I need. For a smaller projects, you can use them really. So anything else? Like any
There is one question regarding recording. I'll just answer it. So
yeah, okay.
So we'll just see how we can share the recording of the session. We're just thinking how to share it and all. So we'll communicate regarding that to all the participants sooner. So if we don't get back, feel free to contact us through any POCs that you know, and we'll definitely try to share the recording.
So any more questions? Shall we wind up, or like do you have any questions, guys? Okay, yeah, PPT is there in that GitHub which I have shared. You can take that PPT from there, so that's not big deal. Everything which I used in this video, like even the example which I made before, like it was showing the pictures perfectly, is there in my GitHub link. So feel free to download and just use it. So thank you, sir, for your amazing workshop. You're welcome, and like thanks for everybody who just attend this session. Like I see about like 80 participants are still left, so I just feel happy for that. So this, yeah, thank you for attending the session. So feel free to ask any questions, and you can even contact me in that email which you can find in my GitHub account. So yeah, so there is that. So any more questions? Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Okay, so
yes, it's done.
yeah, I think we're also out of time. Some other meeting is going to happen this week,
Yeah,
so we
okay.
have to wind up. So thanks for attending, guys, to everyone. And once again, very big thanks to Praveen for going slowly, answering all the questions, taking time, and it was a good session. Really, thank you. And yeah, okay, we'll close the call, guys. Thanks for attending. If you have any other further questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help regarding be it orientation or the technical parts.